There's an Israeli cybersecurity company called NSO.org. It produces the spyware Pegasus. Now, Pegasus was designed to hunt down wanted criminals and to search for terrorism suspects. In other words, that's specifically what it was for, and the company says that it would not lease this to anyone who was willing to use it otherwise. However, many people have thought otherwise, that this is being used to spy on journalists, etc. And now for the first time, we have proof that it has been used in these kinds of activities. We now know it has been used to hack the smartphones belonging to journalists, human rights activists, business executives, 2 women close to the murdered Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, according to an investigation by the Washington Post and 16 media partners. Now, upwards of 50,000 phone numbers have been tracked, like the phones have been hacked by this software. Now, the identity of the individual owners isn't actually known. But what they do know is that where these phone numbers are clustered, they're clustered in countries where the government is known to spy on journalists and private citizens. And these same countries are also the ones who have been known to do business with this Israeli company, NSO. However, an analysis shows that 37 of the phones targeted shows that many display a tight correlation between timestamps associated with a number on the list and the initiation of surveillance, in some cases brief as a few seconds. Now, this was made public by 2 organizations, one called Forbidden Stories, a non-profit out of France, and an alleged human rights group, Amnesty International. The numbers on the list are unattributed, but reporters were able to identify more than 1,000 spanning more than 50 countries through research and interviews on 4 continents, several Arab royal family members, at least 65 business executives, 85 human rights activists, 189 journalists, and more than 600 politicians and government officials, including cabinet ministers, diplomats, military and security officers. The numbers of several heads of state and prime ministers also appeared on the list. According to the journalists whose number appear on the list, which date to 2016, the reporters are working overseas for several leading news organizations, including a small number for CNN, the Associated Press, Voice of America, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg News, Le Monde in France, and the Financial Times in London, and Al Jazeera in Qatar. After publication of these new revelations, the company's CEO, Shalev Julio, denies all accusations against his company. The company cares about journalists and activists and civil society in general. We understand that in some circumstances, our customers might misuse the system, and in some cases, like we reported in our Transparency and Responsibility report, we have shut down systems for customers who have misused the system. Now, he said that in the past 12 months, the NSO has terminated contracts with 2 countries. However, they refused to name what 2 countries those were. Amnesty's forensics found evidence that Pegasus was targeted at least 2 women closest to Saudi columnist Khashoggi, who wrote for the Post's opinion section. The phone of his fiancée, Hatice Şehnaz, was successfully infected during the days after his murder in Turkey on October 2nd, 2018, according to a forensic analysis by Amnesty's security lab. Also on the list were the numbers of 2 Turkish officials involved in investigating his dismemberment by a Saudi hit team. We should, of course, not be surprised by these revelations whatsoever. I think it's fairly clear that the most significant countries in the world do spy on their citizens and do spy on journalists all the time. I mean, the United States has a very vast spying program which does target any kind of dissent, both domestically and internationally. To even view this as something that wouldn't be abused is frankly nonsense. Now, I'm personally of the opinion that this is exactly what the software was intended to do. It was intended to spy on phones of targets, and them being terrorists or being wanted criminals was completely irrelevant to its creation. It was meant to spy, period, and it's just left up to the user how they end up using the program. So it should not be surprising in any way, shape, or form that these governments and even sometimes private organizations would be spying on people using this software, because that is the age of the kind of almost 1984-ish scariness that we live in today. A scariness that came in the form of capitalism, not socialism. and all of it designed to maintain the current international capitalist order. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.